So in today's video, I'm going to discuss what are the career options which you can go for after college. And here I'm presuming that you are a bachelor's degree student, probably in the third or fourth year, or maybe in your second year. And you have started thinking about the possibilities which you have once you finish your bachelor's degree. So the first and traditional and classical choice which you have is to get a job. And essentially, if this is your field, I would suggest some of the following steps. So, first of all, you should study the field very thoroughly, your subject. For example, if you are in computer science, you need to be sure that you know all the different aspects of computer science and focus on the courses which are taught in your curriculum. Now, beside this, I would say that since you are going to sit for an interview for different companies which probably come to your college, you should make sure that you have a practical bent of mind. You have looked at some of the industry aspects of your field and are ready to answer various questions which are asked during the interview. So, for example, again looking at computer science, you may be asked various questions about writing snippets of code to do certain tasks, such as to flip two numbers in a string or something like that, or how would you write a code to generate prime numbers. So again, you should be familiar with some of the basic aspects of your course and look more at aspects such as software. So again, your eye should be on the practical aspects of the course. Now, one of the things which can cement your situation here is to look for an internship in a company, and you should do this in your second year or third year during the summer vacations. So this will help you to get a hang of how things work in the real world. And also, if you make a good impression in the particular company, they may call you for a job down the road. So this will certainly help your case. These particular internships also will get you some contacts which you can use for getting references later on if you apply for some different job. Now, one of the advantages of taking a job right after your bachelor's degree is that you are going to start making money straight away, and this is going to give you a head start as far as finances are concerned. And for many people, this may be a choice which they are forced to make because they may be in somewhat impecunious circumstances as far as their family is concerned, and therefore the money is very welcome for them. So now let's look at the second option. The second option is going for an MBA after your bachelor degree, and this is for people who are interested in getting into the management side of the equation. So here again, your focus on the subjects in your curriculum needs to be there, but you may be somebody who spends less time on your curriculum and more time on your verbal and quantitative skills, because these are the skills which are going to be measured in the various examinations which are required for study of management, and these are examinations such as GMAT or CAT and so on. Now, one of the ways to increase your verbal skill is to read voraciously. You should read fiction, non-fiction, as well as take as many courses which you can in humanities and sociology domains if you are a tech major. And if you are a major in the humanities and social sciences, you should take some courses on basic mathematics, for example, on probability and statistics and calculus, so that you are somewhat better prepared on the quantitative side of the equation. Now, beside these, the exams which are typically required for the MBA type of course include a lot of things about puzzles, logic, and so on. So make it a point to do a lot of puzzles, take part in crossword games, Sudoku, and so on. And this will certainly help your case. You can also look at chess as a game which you can practice. Now, the next possible scenario is to go for civil service. But before we go for that, I can tell you that one of the problems with the MBA approach is that it may require you to spend a lot of money for these programs. So again, for many students, this may not be an option which they can afford right after your bachelor's degree, and they may need to put in a couple of years of work experience. And the good part about that is the work experience will actually help you in your admission for the MBA program, and it will also help you to use the different subjects which you are going to study during the particular MBA program. Because if you are going to study subjects such as human resource management, finance, or how to run companies, then it is a good idea to work in a company for a couple of years at least. Now, if we come to the third option, which is civil service, and this is prevalent in most countries, that there is a civil service examination of some sort. And here again, this option is good for people who want to go into the government side of the equation. Now, here also you need to focus on grades, because reasonably good grades will help your case. And also, if you give some of the examinations in the subject which you are studying, then this will help your case. For example, if you are studying physics or something like that, there may be an examination in the physics part of the system for this particular civil service situation. Now again, in all these situations, you can develop your leadership skills, because they will help you down the road. This is suitable for everybody, whether they are applying for job or MBA or civil services. And again, try to improve your verbal and quantitative skills. So again, I would say the same thing applies to you, to read voraciously and to also improve your quantitative skills and to take part in things such as debates and group discussions. And these things will help you prepare for the interviews which are likely to come later in your life, if you are selected in these particular examinations and then you have to go for the final round of selection. Now, you may also look at working in some places such as NGO or doing some internship in the government if you want to check out whether you really want to take this particular path. Now, the fourth option is to go for higher studies in the form of a master's and a PhD degree. And for this particular situation, I would suggest that you try to maintain A grade level. So this particular option is best for students who are extremely good in studies and who are at the top of the class. So again, here your option becomes better if you have a good equation with the different professors, if you propitiate and venerate them repeatedly, because you are going to require letters of recommendation from these professors. And beside that, you may have to give examinations such as GRE or GATE, and all these examinations will require to some extent a good knowledge of the subject, and in the case of GRE also verbal and quantitative skills. So again, to develop your verbal skills, you need to read voraciously fiction and non-fiction, as well as take humanities and social science subject. And in the case of quantitative skills, you need to make sure that you take several mathematics subjects and you are familiar with all the things which you have studied back in your high school. Now, beside this, I would also suggest that you try to do internship in some universities. So if you are in a country, you can go to a different country to do an internship at a top research lab or a university. And if you can work with the top professor, then this recommendation will greatly help you. If you are able to, then write a paper either in a conference or in a journal. This also helps your case very much as far as graduate study is concerned. Finally, when you choose the project at the end of your BS curriculum, make sure that you choose a good project which is on a hot topic and which possibly is with a person who can help you to write a paper, or at least be part of a group which writes a paper, because all these things help you very substantially. Now, beside these, there are some more fields which are possible, and these are fields related to law. For example, one could get into patent law if this person is trained as a Bachelor of Technology, or one could also go for fields such as accountancy fields such as a CA or a CPA. So again, all these fields require certain examinations and certain particular parts of studies which you can look at. So these are some of the possible fields you can go for. And as you can realize, in some of these fields, the particular major which you are coming from is not so important, and therefore the skills are largely tested on verbal and quantitative skills, and then you are selected. But if you are going for a job or you are going for a master's or PhD, then your particular grade point becomes very important, because if you are going for a job, you need to show these people that you know all the different things on the subject. So at the end of your bachelor degree curriculum, the interview people are going to ask you questions on your subject, and so you need to be able to answer these questions. And similarly, when you are going for a master's or PhD, in fact, the You may get a position in a top school without going and meeting anybody. So these decisions are largely based on your GPA, on your GRE scores, on your GATE scores, and so on. So again, here the situation is very important that you know your subject well. And in certain institutions, they may even ask you questions for the subject. And here, of course, if you are going for a PhD situation and you are asked questions, you are going to be asked questions on the basic aspect of the field. So again, how well you have studied in the field will become very important here. So these are some of the possibilities which you can do after your bachelor's degree, and in some ways some of these depend on your particular predilection which you have obtained by looking at the world at large, but also some of these depend on your financial condition. So if your financial condition is strong, then you can aspire for some of the fields like an MBA or law or CPA, because you'll have to continue to spend substantial money till you finally get your final degree and get a job. And if your financial condition is such that you have less money to spend, then I would say the best alternative would be to get a job and go for graduate study, because in these cases you start getting a stipend or a salary pretty quickly. So these are some of the outlines about possible things you can do. Now, if I recall, during my bachelor's degree year, the choices were pretty much similar, and different type of people went for different curriculum based on their status in society as far as finances were concerned. So very often the people who are from big cities and who know the business system, they tend to go for the MBA type of programs, and the people who are from the smaller towns and the different parts of the country, they typically go for job, civil service, or graduate study. Law and CPA and CA have become a more recent option among many people. Of course, CA and CPA was always there for business majors, but nowadays there are also engineering people and technology people who can get into some of these domains later if they are able to give the exam. And the case of law has also become somewhat similar, because there is a great need for lawyers who are well versed in technology, and this is something you can keep in mind, especially when you're dealing with patent law or intellectual property and some of these things. So I hope this video was useful to you, and please stay tuned to my channel for more such videos. Thank you very much.